Hey everyone, so in this video we're gonna set up a folder structure for our API. So as our API grows and we can add more endpoints to this, we can structure our code better, and we will know where everything is, where every functionality is when we want to access it. So what we're gonna be using here is an MVC structure. So it stands for um, if I can type correctly. So what this stands for is M for model, V for view, and C for C for controller. So what model is? Model is basically the data models of our API. So this is the data we're gonna be dealing with. In our example, we have the posts which we created a model for here. So posts are the things which we're gonna be performing our actions on. View is the UI logic for our application, for our API. So view is the thing which we're gonna be using to send our requests and showing the user the data. So in our case, Insomnia, this can be a view for our API. And another example could be a React app or any other JavaScript framework or normal HTML, CSS. And C stands for controller, which is the business logic of our application. So controllers are the places, the functions which will handle all the logic which we're gonna perform uh, on our models basically. So this is the structure we're gonna set up here. And refactoring your code is an extremely important process of development, and I think you should really get a grasp of this, because uh, if you don't refactor your code, it's gonna turn out into a big mess if as the code base grows. So let's start setting up the folder structure here. So I'm gonna first create the routes folder. So I know this was not mentioned in um, the structure I just told, but routes are basically in our API specific way of, this is like the gateway which directs the request that we receive from the front end to the appropriate controller. So we're gonna create a routes folder, then we're gonna create a models folder, then we're gonna not inside this but out in the root, then we're gonna create a folder for controllers. So let's first set up the routes, and we're gonna have only one file here, uh, post routes.js. Okay, we're gonna first import express from in here. Okay, then I'm just gonna grab all of these functions which are related to posts, and I'm gonna paste them here. So okay, that's good. Then we're gonna create a new variable here which will be route express dot route. Actually it's express dot router, and we're gonna replace all the app requests here to uh, to our route. Okay, you can select multiple instances like this, press by repeatedly pressing Control D. So you can bring your cursor to app here, and if you press Control D, it will select app, and you can press Control D to select the next instance of it, and just like that, if you repeat, you will select all the instances. Alternatively, what you can do is you can press Control F2, which will select all the instances of app written here in this file, and you can change this to route. Okay, nice. So this created all our routes for this. And next we're gonna module dot exports is equal to route. Okay, nice. So back here in our server.js file, we're gonna set app.use, and we're gonna press type route here, and as you can see, the IDE is auto importing this for me. So I'm gonna press enter and use this route, but it named it like route. So we don't usually want that, because if we have like multiple routes here, then we can't have like same route name again and again. So press Ctrl D twice to select both of them and rename this post routes. So now our app knows about the post routes basically. Okay, nice. Next, let's set up the controllers for this. All right, so let's first set up the controller for this. I'm going to create a new file for post controllers.js, and we're going to create basically individual functions for all of the like callback functions we set in the requests. Okay, so first let's create a function get all posts, and instead of like declaring a function here, let's just copy this code block and paste it here. Okay, so we made our first controller here. Next up we have the get single post, const get single post, and again copy the function here, paste it. Now let's create the post one, const create post, copy this. Next is it's a replace, const replace post, copy this, const update post, copy this. Next is delete post, const delete post, and yeah, so now we have all our controllers here. Now it's only a matter of like exporting them and importing them in the post routes there. So we're gonna type module dot exports is equal to an object here which will have get all posts, get single post, create post, replace post, update post, delete post, delete post. Yeah, so that's pretty much all our controllers here. But this file currently will not work because we don't have our post model imported here. So we need to first import our post model, so only then will our functions work, because this will give us an undefined error. Okay, let's first import our controllers here. So I'm gonna come const an object and require dot slash dot slash actually controller slash post what was that, post controller. So this will have all our controllers. Now if I press control space inside the curly braces, I can import all the I keep pressing control comma actually. Yeah, so we have imported all our controllers here. So let's just assign all of them to their appropriate functions. But before we do that, I would like to refactor this function here, this file here, so we don't have like multiple uh, lines for each separate request. So as you can see here, the URL here is the same in like three other places, and this is also the same. So we can refactor this to be like more compact by first let's rename our route to router, and then we can just say router dot route and slash posts. So this will handle all our requests which have the URL slash posts. Then we can just say dot get, and we can like set the function for the for which is the like the controller for this respective URL. So this will be get all posts, and another one we have for this URL is post. So dot post get create post. So as you can see, we can remove like these two requests here, because this one will handle both of these requests by chaining these methods. And the next we can set for what we can set is router dot route, and let's copy this URL here because so I don't mess this up. And like on the get request, we're gonna get a single post. Next is put. We're gonna set up like put is replace post. Then we can set patch, which is update post. Then we can lastly set up delete, which is gonna be delete post. So in this way we have made our code like more compact, so we don't like specify this same URL again and again, because programmers hate repetitive stuff apparently. uh, so next let's set up the models for this, and we have app.use like post routes here. So this will like work because our app knows about these routes. Okay, let's set up the model for this, and let's create a new file for post models. uh, yeah, let's name it post model postmodel.js. Okay. Okay, so we have our file open for this. Now let's go to our server.js file, and let's just yoink this the models for this um, for our like posts. Okay, now all we need to do here is just module dot exports is equal to post model. And another thing which we can do to prevent errors here is we need to actually import mongoose here. Require mongoose, because without this it will give us an undefined error. Okay, so now we need to import our post model here in the post controller, so we can use this post model here. Const post model is equal to require dot slash models slash post model. And if you're not getting like IntelliSense for the paths, for example, if I press control space here, as you can see, it tells me like which files do I have in the models folder. So if you're not getting that, you can use better, which one was it, better path IntelliSense. Like this extension is really helpful for this, so you can install that if you need it. So the next thing we're gonna get an error for is this request response function. We declared this in our server.js file, but we don't have it here. We can do two things here. We can either uh, copy this and like paste it here and paste it in every file that we create for our controllers, or we can do is we can create a new folder, which we're gonna do. This is gonna be a utils folder, and let's create a new file here. Request response. Actually, let's like type it like this, request response, and let's just copy this, cut this and paste this here, and um, like module dot exports is equal to request response. Now if we go back to our post controller and let's remove some part of this, and as you can see, it's giving us IntelliSense to auto import this, and here we have it auto imported. Okay, that should be it, and possibly it shouldn't give us any errors, but just to be sure, let's run our application. So okay, so we ran into an error here because app.use requires a middleware function. This problem exists because we are not properly uh, importing the post routes here. This we are like importing this as an object here, but this is actually not an object because we're directly exporting this. So this doesn't exist, so we need to remove the curly brackets here, and now this will work. Okay, so let's test this out, and let's send a get request, and it returned us all the posts. So if we try to get a single post, this also works. So we can also create a new post. Number 6. I think this is the number 6 video in the tutorial series. So let's create this post. Yep, it also created it. So as you don't have to test the other because they will probably work as well. Yeah, so everything is working and our folder structure is set. So the next thing we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna set up the GitHub repository for our application. Okay, so open up GitHub in your browser and create a new account if you haven't already, and create a new repository here. And we're not gonna select any template here, and I'm gonna just name it backend tutorial. You're gonna name it what you can name it, whatever you want. So I just gave it a little description. You can set it to public or private depending on your preference, and we're not gonna select anything else here, and let's create this repository. Okay, so it's gonna give us a quick setup guide which you can read if you want. I'm gonna go into my terminal. Let's close that, and I'm gonna stop the server. Let's uh, let's run the command git init, which will initialize an empty Git repository. And if you're using Visual Studio Code, you will see that it added some colors to our tabs because these files are currently unregistered in by Git. So to register them, I'm gonna run the command git add -a. This will add all our files to the staging area where they will be actually I'm gonna stop this because this was completely bad, and I forgot something. So we're gonna create a new file here, dot git ignore. So this file is a special Git file which will tell Git that you need to like ignore these files or folders. So I'm gonna add node modules here, and if you're using Visual Studio Code, you can see that as soon as I saved the file, the node modules folder got uh, its color changed. Yeah. So this is because this file will not be included when we're sending when we're sending this project to GitHub, because the node modules folder is just massive. It is filled with classes. So now I'm gonna run git add -a. -a means all. So now this time it like finished up immediately, because it was the last time we did it was adding every file in the node modules folder, which we don't want. And now let's add our commit, git commit -m initial commit. This is generally just a normal convention that, to like initialize the first commit with the initial commit. Okay, so now all our files are committed, and now we can actually push our code to GitHub. So if you want, you can create a new branch. The default branch of Git is master. So if I run git branch here, it will tell me all the branches, and the current branch I am on is master. And GitHub by default uses a main branch basically. So if you want, you can create a main branch. Actually, let's create a main branch. So now if I list all the branches, as you can see, it only has like a main branch, because we replaced the master with the main branch as our new uh, you will be surprised, main branch. Next, we're gonna copy this command git remote add origin. So this will tell Git that this project is linked with this online repository, which is at this link. Okay, so we add this. Now we need to git push -u origin main. If you didn't change the branch, you would have to type master here, but this command basically pushes all our code that we have in our project to the main branch in our online repository. So if I press this, if we run this command, as you can see, it pushed our code. Now back at GitHub, if I refresh the page, you will see that we have all our code here up on GitHub. Now how can we update this code? So let's actually do that. So I'm going to create a new file here, which is readme. So in the readme, we're gonna create, this is a markdown document. So if you're on VS Code, you can open this like changes tab. Actually, it's not the changes tab. It's actually I think it, oh yeah, yeah, this is right. So I'm gonna close this. So if you type this in the backend tutorial here, now if I check, actually, so this was a very stupid mistake by me. So this is actually readme.md. So only this way the VS Code will know that this is a markdown file. So this was a mistake on my part. So now we don't need any other extension for this. We can just directly like press this icon here, and it will show us a preview of the markdown file we have here. So I'm gonna type this, like if I save this file, as you can see, we have a new change in our project. So we can push this change by git add dot or git add -a. You can do both of these, they will work the same. And git commit dash m added readme, and we can simply type git push. So git push will push into the current branch we are on. So I'm using a terminal utility here which is called oh my posh theme. So you can, if you want, you can like search this on Google and install this, so it will tell you the branch you are on in VS Code. Alternatively, you can see the branch you are on like in the bottom here. So if I press git push here, so it will push the new changes into the master branch we are on. So if I go back here and refresh the page, and as you can see, it added the readme here, and it also showed the readme down here. We can also edit the files here, but I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.